Okay, so I'm going to read a little excerpt from the book Toward a Meaningful Life by Rabbi Simon Jacobson, who, by the way, is a fantastic speaker and even an orator. If you haven't seen his long-form YouTube videos, then I would recommend you look them up because he's a very sagacious guy, and I love listening to his stuff when I'm walking around or when I'm planning a certain low-intensity workout that I can execute during the course of my work week. So here's the excerpt I'm going to read to you today before I make a short video, just as I fall to sleep and prepare to finish up my work week tonight. A revered rabbi once journeyed to visit a younger rabbi who was known for his religious devotion. The older rabbi was very much impressed with the young man's total immersion in prayer and study, and asked the secret of his unwavering piety. The younger man replied that by concentrating deeply on his studies, he was able to ignore any outside influences that might distract him. Indeed, the older man had noticed that many of the nearby villagers were involved in activities that were quite contrary to piety. He said to the younger man, "When it is very cold, there are two ways to warm yourself. One is by putting on a fur coat, the other is by lighting a fire. The difference is that the fur coat warms only the person wearing it, while the fire warms anyone who comes near." This is important to think about in the context of modern, sort of contemporary American self-improvement culture, particularly as it's directed to young men. You know, whether you're sampling content from certain veteran influencers with a human face, or you're consuming AI-generated slop, so to speak, you might inevitably run into memes and ideas and impressions encircling a sort of artificially amped up obsession with strengthening your individual self. So, I don't know how else to word this sort of precautionary wisdom for you in a short video, but I guess I would summarize the point I might later revisit in a long-form essay as follows. Nietzschean cultivations can deplete common pool resources. For every minute or every hour or every dollar or every gram of protein you insert into enhancing your individual self, you deny that resource to a community that may help you when you fall on hard times. So one of my favorite writers clarified that before you live in the real world, you might lust after all kinds of big victories in the realms of, seizing beautiful romantic partners, or getting a lot of money, or becoming super popular, or getting fancy cars or something. But as you live real life, you realize that living skillfully requires preventing big losses before you pursue big victories. So these sort of Nietzschean self-inflating, self-deifying cultivations that seem to be marketed to all kinds of people, including many who purport to be Christian, are things that ultimately lead to certain forms of ruin, if not ruin in terms of damaging organ function or your finances, they can actually lead to different kinds of spiritual ruin, So I don't want to take too long to get this point out there. I just want to say that you have to be careful that your independent quest for wisdom does not prompt you to superimpose too much friction on your relationships with other people who are honest and earnest pursuers of the truth or of, what they conceive of as the good life. Nietzschean cultivations can deplete common pool resources. Nietzscheanism leads to the tragedy of the commons that nobody really sees because they're busy staring at their jacked physiques in the mirror of a gym bathroom, Trust me, I've been there. About a decade ago, I was obsessed with honing my physique and, enjoying earthly pleasures, we'll say. But ultimately, I found real fulfillment in sort of self-trivializing actions that uploaded more and more of my resources into what I presume are like other people's minds, brains, bodies, whatever you want to say about that. So, by all means, enjoy your period of self-inflation and narcissism and everything, but don't forget that when you're done and you realize that there's not really a whole lot to self-improvement. Here I can quote a line from Fight Club that's a bit vulgar. Make sure you have a family you can visit. Make sure you have a community you can fall back on, okay? All of this self-inflation is ultimately an infantile grasping for something worth worshipping, and the self is certainly not that. All right, thank you for watching and have a good day, and God bless you.